Do you believe in astrology?
Absolutely, I do.
Do you believe in astrology?
I am becoming to believe in it a little bit more.
Do you believe in astrology?
I definitely do.
I'm a Cancer with my moon in Sagittarius and my rising sign in Virgo, and a lot of things have come true because of astrology in my life.
What is bringing you into learning more about it?
My girlfriend, for the most part, she talks a lot about it, believes a lot in it.
I actually had one of my friends who was like really, really into it, so I delved more into it. Yeah, and I started just researching it, and I found a lot of it to be true, so I shared it with like all my friends.
Do you read your horoscope every day?
That's about the sun signs, and actually an astrologer usually talks about every planet rather than just the sun sign.
Do you buy into the 2012 prophecy, the Mayan prophecy at the end of the world?
I don't know. Y2K, nothing happened, and now it seems like it's kind of just the same thing, like to scare people, maybe to get them to go out and spend more money now because they might not have a chance later, something like that. But I mean, I'm not worried about it too much.
Along those lines, do you also believe in the power of gemstones and healing, or?
I have only once in my life been to like a rock shop that was pretty interesting. And I could feel vibes, but not, I haven't really gotten into it. No.
Have you ever delved into the properties of gemstones?
I have done some healing work with gemstones, and it has helped me. And I would like to show off my moonstone. This is my star and my moon earrings.
Good evening and welcome to Dinner with Dorann, Food for the Soul. We are here tonight at Gulliver's. Gulliver's has been around over 50 years and is known for its wonderful pizza. What sets Gulliver's apart, though, is their ambiance. Take a look around. You'll find antiques, sculptures, paintings from all over the world. You have wonderful food, wonderful atmosphere. Definitely check it out. And now I'd like to introduce my lovely and esteemed guest, Dawn Silver, astrologer, naprapath, and author of Jewels of the Lotus, the recipient of the Coalition of Visionary Retailers Award. She also teaches regularly on the Sea Angels spiritual tours on cruise ships through the Caribbean and Alaska. Quite a resume. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Dorann. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. Can you tell us a little bit how Jewels of the Lotus would be different than other generic crystal books or astrology books?
I wrote the Jewels of the Lotus because in those days there wasn't an oracle or much of a good teaching tool that would explain how to use crystals in crystal healing body work.
I see.
So this is what the Jewels of the Lotus does.
How did you get involved with astrology?
Astrology has gotten so popular again. And my business is so busy, and I thank the goddess it's so busy. I was 15. I had a boyfriend who was older. Don't recommend that, folks. And used to say things like, the reason you're so crabby is because your moon's in Cancer. And so I got into astrology actually trying to prove that it was not valid. I met a good teacher. I learned how to construct charts back in the days before you had computers. You used to have to know math, do it by hand. And then I went to an astrology convention. And when I got to the convention, there was this man with 2 tables of crystals. And at the end of the convention, I wound up trading him $200 worth of sea vegetation products, which I'm a big seaweed fan. And I started bringing them up, selling them dirt cheap. There was not another crystal shop in Chicago, and it rolled itself...
So from the ground up.
So it rolled itself into Healing Earth Resources, and it was great.
Well, it was a metaphysical store, and...
Right. It was a very large bookstore. We had crystals and lots of energy healers, lots of everything you could imagine. It was, I called it the village at Healing Earth. It was an emporium, so... And it was almost 20 good years of my life. It was awesome. And I was just really fortunate to get to do that kind of work in Chicago.
Birthstones, are they, everyone knows about their birthstone.
The gemstone retailers, they created a system where they divided it by month, which was an easy way to do it. But within a month's time, you have 2 different energies.
Exactly.
So you can't relate it to the astrology. If you're born on a certain day, there's a science called Rasavidya astrology, where the main component is just knowing the day of the week that you're born on can hold off or ward off the karmic effects of the planets. So theoretically, if you wear your gemstone and you wear it on your body, it's kind of like a no-brainer, because you can forget to eat well, you can forget to pray, you can forget to take your medicine, but no self-respecting woman forgets to wear her jewelry, right?
This is monumental news.
So when I do astrology, one of the things I do is determine which gemstones help to actually strengthen you, strengthen your money, strengthen your relationships, strengthen all the different components of a life.
Well, Donna, you have so many gorgeous. Shall we
I do.
Take a look at the properties and perhaps briefly mention about the where we can place them or wear them? I know, isn't that important?
That is a great question. And actually, because you do want the energy of the stones to touch the skin to the best of the ability. So when you're wearing a pendant, you want to have the back open. Really important, the best you can, because it's going to have a chemical reaction on the skin. So they're not going to make you superhuman or take you off the planet for the most part, because they're very formative.
Right.
You take a stone like garnet, which has a very high iron content in it. Well, iron in anthroposophic medicine is actually the anchor that brings you down to the physical earth. At the time of birth, the newborn baby has the highest iron content they'll ever have in their entire physical life, because nature has planned for that soul to have to anchor into the physical existence. For the space shuttle to come back down to the earth, it's got to be coated with iron magnetite, or it can't make it through the gravitational forces. It's just amazing how spiritual science really is coupled with science.
Exactly. In fact, on our last show, we were talking about science and spirituality and melding the two together.
And I like to think that that's the work I do with the Jewels of the Lotus. I try to create a bridge from the science to the meta-science. It's just one of the last frontier sciences.
It is.
Yet to be, we're still the woo-woos and the jujus, but it's actually science that's proving this whole field, and it's fabulous.
Well, Dawn, can you explain going into the jewels and the gemstones? There is a cosmic energy that's all incorporated into one modality.
All gemstones, and including us, we're all guests upon this planet. So we have the energies that come down from many, many different planets, many different star seeds. These minerals and metals and atomic particles come from these other locations, but they're imprinted with what's called the morphogenetic fields. They're imprinted with the energies of the places that they've come from.
Yes, and again, everything is energy, so this would
energy.
Be right.
Right, and science is so brilliant the way they're explaining this. So another stone I have is a beautiful, beautiful dioptase. And dioptase has a very high copper content to it. But it's interesting because at the time of birth, the mother will have triple the amount of copper in her physical body, because copper creates the envelope, the electrical force field that takes the baby, that takes the energy of the incarnating soul and brings it to the realm of the breast. And then if you take it to the next level, you know how they always say men are from Mars and women are from Venus? Men actually have more iron in their system at any given time, and women actually have more copper. And copper is ruled by Venus, and iron is ruled by the planet Mars.
And consequently, if you want to up your copper content,
you should do it through jewelry. And the reason why through jewelry is because copper can be actually toxic if you don't know what you're doing with it. So any stone that has a high copper content to it, like malachite has a very high copper content to it.
Yeah, this is another beautiful green. So this is an actual, one of the jewels, one of the oracle jewels, and this is the malachite.
And this would be the counterpart. This is rhodochrosite.
Oh, is that
so
that's
again,
stunning.
high carbon content, which vibrates yellow in the chromatographic scale, along with high manganese, which vibrates scarlet. And you put the two colors together, and they create the frozen flame. I love that. I love how nature just works. So turquoise is a high copper content too. And one of the things I do in the work I do is I correlate the color to the vibration of the stone. So like turquoise is very good for burns in particular, but even if you just used a turquoise light on a burn.
So actually you're saying that you could put
a turquoise light
a turquoise light
Right.
on a burn.
Right.
And it can be
Or vibrationally,
healed.
you'd
Or
wear
vibrationally.
Right. Yeah. It would work the same way in the plant kingdom, because you go to the plant kingdom and you look at what plants, the mature leaves have a blue-green ray, and that would be aloe vera, tea tree, marjoram, lavender, probably a few more, calendula. The mature leaves of all those plants have a blue-green mist to them. And those are the plants that are specific also for burns in the body.
Dawn, I can't get my eye off that huge quartz.
Oh, this one's from Tibet, and I like collecting quartz from different places in the world. It holds the region where it's been for a long time.
Dawn, I've heard that the quartz is the most, as far as like manifesting desires, you can again program it with positive
That's another great
manifestation.
Question. So quartz is really super responsible for what I would call the outer covering. It's the outer covering of the earth. 70% of our crust is actually silicon dioxide.
Oh.
And that's why we're known as the living library in the galaxy, because quartz can hold all this information. But even in your physical body, quartz is the outer covering. Like your skin is made out of silicon, right? That's why we take silica for the skin. And if you look at every single cell of a quartz crystal, the silicon dioxide, it's always going to be hexagonal in shape. And if you look at your skin underneath a microscope, each and every cell is going to be a densely packed unit of six-sided molecules, the suprasquamous and the columnar cells. But even inside your body, when you take silica inside your body, it's the outer covering of the bone. So it's not for going deep like phosphorus or boron would be, and they have a different atomic structure, but silica would do that. So it's the outer covering of the feathers on a bird or the eye of a fly. If you look under it's crazy. The turtle's back, or the beehive.
You have to go to the Galapagos Islands and do some research.
Stop the show. Let's go now.
Or what is your take on the doomsday prophecy of 2012?
2012 is just the coined phrase of it. We're really in the end of the Mayan calendar. But the interesting thing about the Mayan calendar is we've been in this position, not as Dawn Silver, the rock collector perhaps, but we've been in this position 5 other times, or the end of the Kali Yuga, which is the Hindu system of many, many, many thousands and thousands of years. So we've reached these so-called end times many times. And we just start a whole new way.
It's a rebirth,
It's a rebirth. The roller coaster ride for now has sped up. But it's going to be fabulous. I mean, we're looking at a time right now. Jupiter just went into Aries. We're going to have all these independent films that are going to be taking off. The tides are turning more away from the classic ways of doing things. Inventions like you wouldn't believe. Just unbelievable. Medical science, new technologies, new tools. But even the energy of the Errol Flynn type of the romantic swashbuckling. This is a time we're going to see this in the movies more and more. And we're going to be there for 7 years with Uranus in Aries. And we just had a year and a half ago Pluto go into Capricorn.
And Dawn, where do you do your readings?
At home.
In the cave.
In the cave at home. You know
Sounds
me.
dangerous.
For
yes.
25 years of my life, I was very, very public. And when my store closed, I kind of took it back to the cave. And so now people come over the house. But I would say about 70% of what I do is over the phone even. So I have people all across the country.
I should say that I am a good testimonial. Dawn has done my chart, which is fantastic.
You can contact me through my website at www.dawnsilver, like the color, dawnsilver.com.
Dawn, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Dorann. I love it.
We have had so much fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We so appreciate it. And until next time, we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night.